They say nature is beautiful, peaceful, but sometimes the wilderness reminds you you're just a guest. Russ Fee on a solo camping trip, enjoying the quiet. Then, in the dead of night, he heard something unlike anything he had ever heard before. Screams, panic. It came from a nearby campsite. Russ knew he had to help. Russ ran towards the blood-curdling screams. When he reached the campsite, he couldn't believe his eyes. He didn't know what to do. He froze in shock. What happened next would change his life forever. Russ Fee thought the panicked voices rising from the campsite next to his were from parents whose child had gone missing, until he heard both a man and a woman desperately scream, "Help!" Panicked himself, Fee fumbled with the zipper on his tent, finally got the mesh door open and rushed over with a lantern in hand. At the neighboring campsite, the Calgary man saw a large animal trying to drag something from a destroyed tent. Inside the tent was a family of 4 visiting Banff Alta from New Jersey, 2 young boys and their mom and dad. The father, Matt Rispoli's arm was clamped in the animal's jaws as he tried to fend it off. Matt's wife, Elisa Rispoli, motherly instinct immediately kicked in. She laid her body across her 2 young children, sheltering them from the attack. Matt's first thought was to protect his wife and kids. With his free arm, he grabbed the animal, trying his hardest to pin it to the ground. But it was no use. It was much too strong and started dragging Matt towards the tent opening. Matt was still in the tent and the creature's back legs were just outside the tent's door. Russ still didn't know what was attacking Matt, but he made a snap decision on how to help. He ran full speed, kicking the animal as hard as he could. Russ knew he didn't injure it, but he wasn't trying to. He was hoping to startle it, and maybe if he did, it would run away. His plan half worked. The creature let go of Matt's arm, but it didn't run away. The creature fully stepped out of the tent, and now was staring Russ straight in the face. He started wondering if he had made a big mistake. Russ immediately regretted kicking it. Russ finally realized what he was up against, now seeing the creature for the first time. There he was, face to face with a giant, a wolf, the largest wolf he had ever seen. But just as Russ was about to become the wolf's next victim, Matt came rushing out of the tent. Matt wasn't going to let Russ face the wolf alone. After all, Russ did put his life on the line to protect his family. Matt's whole left side was full of blood, but the urge to protect his family overwhelmed his pain. The wolf, now outnumbered, still stood its ground. It just stared the 2 men down, showing no fear. They knew they had to do something before it attacked again. Russ picked up a rock and threw it at the wolf, striking it in the head. Matt saw the wolf backed up and followed Russ in throwing rocks. As the 2 men threw rocks, repeated striking the wolf, it continued to back up. Matt quickly got his family out of the tent. The 5 of them started making their way to Russ's campsite, still throwing rocks towards the wolf. Eventually, they would make it to Russ's car, where they would get in, taking shelter from the wolf. They were finally safe. The nightmare was over. But why did the wolf go through all that trouble to try and drag Matt from his tent? Wolf attacks on humans are rare. They normally prefer an easier prey. Parks Canada tracked the wolf believed to be responsible for the attack to a location about 1 kilometer south of the campground and killed it. The agency said DNA tests confirmed the wolf that was killed was responsible for the attack. Veterinary tests have confirmed that the wolf was in poor condition and likely nearing the end of its natural lifespan. The wolf's condition was likely a contributing factor for its unusual behavior, and this remains a very rare incident. John Stuart Smith, a wildlife management specialist with Parks Canada, said this is the first incident of its kind within a national park. There have been 2 other incidents in provincial parks, one in BC and one in Ontario. These 3 incidents are the only ones where people have actually been injured in protected areas like provincial parks and national parks. There have been other incidents outside of parks where people have been injured in wolf attacks. Previously, the federal agency said there were no significant wildlife attractants or food found inside or in the immediate vicinity of the tent. Rampart Creek Campground, where the attack took place, has since reopened.